Rise and grind, McAlester. Welcome to Harbor Mountain Coffee House at 224 South 3rd Street in McAlester. Come have a cup of joe with us and enjoy the show. You're tuned in to Coffee with the Coach, brought to you by Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress, Doherty's Pharmacy, Reagan Auto, and the PC Landing Zone. Live on KNED, 1150 AM, 98.3 FM, online at McAllisterRadio.com, and video streaming on YouTube. I'm your voice of the Buffaloes, Brandon Green, and tonight McAlester is back on the road as they travel to T-Town to take on the East Central Cardinals. If you are able, make sure to make the drive and catch the Buffs. We're going to start our show off with our seniors once again this week. We've got Jaden Chaney and we got Dustin Jacobson in the well, I was about to say in the studio or in the booth, but we got them in the coffee shop here today. How you guys doing?
I'm doing all right. Just living.
Living the dream?
Yeah.
There you go. Now, I know that you guys are new to the show, so the way that we get it started is we started off with an icebreaker. Try to keep it loose, try to keep it fun a little bit here. My first question to you guys, would you rather have hands for feet or feet for hands, and why?
I feel like I'd rather have hands for feet.
Hands for feet. Now, why? This is coming from Jaden, by the way, for those listening on radio.
I mean, I just feel like it'd be easier to walk.
Easier to walk?
Because you can't do anything when you got feet on your hands.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like I feel like if you had you're saying hands for feet. Okay, I see what you're saying. Dustin.
I'd probably say the same thing.
Hands for feet.
I mean, you got animals that pretty much do the same thing.
Right, just hoofs all the time.
Yeah, you could just learn to adapt.
Now, also being football players, you got to be able to have your hands. I mean, you're not going to be able to catch with your feet.
You can block with your feet.
You can block with your feet, that's for sure. Let's go to this one. Being seniors, kind of get into more football stuff right here. It's been a ride in your high school careers. You guys have had some highs. You guys have gone through a lot of highs, some lows here and there as well. But what has been your favorite part of being a part of McAlester football?
Just the energy, everything that we do. We always have a good time. We make everything a good time. There's never a time where we're all just slouched, just not having fun. It's always fun being with the Buffaloes.
Sweet. Dustin?
We always learn not to dwell on things. Coach Mazey makes sure we know that, and so we're always having fun.
Okay. Here's a question for you, Dustin. Again, you made the switch from linebacker to nose tackle for your senior year. What's that transition been like? What's some things that you've had to learn to get ready for your new role that you've had here in your senior year?
I mean, it's been a ride. I've been trying to learn certain techniques. I mean, last time I played nose guard was back in, like 5th grade. So It's definitely been a ride against some of the tougher nose centers like Del City and Coweta. I mean, the main issue I've had is double teams.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a few times I've been able to break it, but I just got to work harder at it. Right now, this week I've been working a lot of linebacker instead of nose guard. I think they're starting Jaden Shumway at nose guard this week.
Well, I know that also to get ready for that role, it's also good when you have like a week 0 like you had against Broken Bow to be able to get a good head start into that. Jaden, you've been a multi-sport athlete playing baseball as well. Then this might be a dumb question, but I feel like it's also a good one to ask here. Playing outfield in the spring, getting good reactions and first steps off of balls off the bat, does kind of help you being a receiver, defensive back?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. I mean, it's a little bit different with a baseball than a football, but
obviously, yeah.
I feel like it does help with catching the football a lot.
I would figure that it would have a really, a good thing for your reaction skills to be able to have like a first step to the ball or initial break like you would if you're playing, cornerback or safety. This is a question for both of y'all now. Is there any advice that you would give yourself when you were a freshman, if you could go back now as a senior?
There's a lot. Just keep your head up. Never get down. I did that a lot during baseball season. It really hurt me. But, yeah.
That's good advice because I always, when you're in high school, looking back now, you're like, oh, man, every single play is the end of the world. And you still got to remember what you do is still a game. You want to win. Obviously, you hate losing, but you need to make sure that you still remember, hey, let's go out and try to win it and not try to lose it as much. Dustin?
It'd definitely be just buckle down and get your work done. I know for me, my freshman year, my academics weren't the best. It's got me in a hole, and I'm trying to work out of it. So that's what I would tell my freshman self.
All right, we'll end it on a fun one here. Hypothetically, I think this is one of the best ones I've had so far. Hypothetically, I gave you guys both $1 million each right now. I've never seen that in my life. But if you had to spend it all in 24 hours, though, what would you be spending it on within 24 hours?
I'd,
I would love to see what high school seniors would do with it.
I'd probably put it all away, maybe, for college.
You got to spend it, though.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
spend it. You see, because that's the thing. I would have done the same thing, but if you have to spend it, what would you do?
I'd definitely buy a house and a car, buy my parents' vehicles.
That's a smart thing to do, I'd say.
I'd keep half of it, get a,
You can't keep it. You got to spend it in that day.
I'd give half of it to my parents.
That's
I'd buy them stuff.
Technically, you're not keeping
within
it
the
then.
24 hours, and then I'd spend the other half on myself. Probably new car.
See, he's playing the long game too. I like that because technically you're not keeping it when you're giving it to your parents, and you're gonna be like, "Hey, I got a little bit. Hey, remember when I gave you guys $500,000? Can I have commercial real estate for Coach Mazey?" Guys, thank you so much, and good luck against the Cardinals tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin. Those are Buffalo seniors Jaden Chaney and Dustin Jacobson. You're tuned into Coffee with the Coach. Don't go anywhere. We'll speak on East Central, well, here in a little bit, but we'll also recap the game from Coweta last week here in just a moment with Coach Mazey on KNED.
Thank you, McAlester, for voting us Best Automotive Mechanic Shop for 2022 and 2023 in the Reader's Choice Awards. Reagan Auto in McAlester is offering an AC performance check for $99.95. Reagan Auto now has an employment opportunity for automotive technicians with a signing bonus. Reagan Auto, 306 East Wyandotte Avenue, McAlester. Call 918-715-3236.
Hot, hey!
Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress is proud to support our McAlester Buffaloes. For 32 years, Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress has been your one-stop shop for all of your furniture and mattress needs, offering quality recliners, living room sets, bedroom sets, dining room sets, and mattresses. Stop by Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress today and make yourself at home. Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress, 5 South 5th Street in McAlester. Go Buffs! Have a great season.
Nothing's working! Wait, we're not cavemen! We have technology!
Are you a business in need of technology help? The PC Landing Zone specializes in device repair, including phones, tablets, computers, as well as networking installations and troubleshooting, cloud backups, VoIP phone systems, structured cabling, and more. Give us a call at 918-820-4188 for your local one-stop shop for all your technology needs.
Doherty Pharmacy, your full-service pharmacy. We offer free delivery in the McAlester area. We are a 340B pharmacy, and we're a compounding pharmacy. We also have a convenient drive-through. With all of that, we offer fast, friendly service. Doherty Pharmacy is open 6 days a week, Monday through Friday 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1. Doherty Pharmacy is proud to sponsor the 2022 football season. We're located at 622 East Wyandotte, McAlester. For prescription refills, call 918-426-5223.
Harper Mountain. Welcome back to Coffee with the Coach from Harper Mountain Coffee House on 3rd Street in McAlester. This year's show brought to you by Reagan Auto, the PC Landing Zone, Doherty Pharmacy, and Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress. Now we welcome to the show the head coach of the McAlester Buffaloes, Forrest Mazey.
Glad to be back.
Yes, sir. Hey, we'll get right into it here. Again, the 28-27 loss to Coweta last week. You mentioned in the postgame show that you and the coaches were going to hit the film room hard after the game. What did you think about the game 6 days later?
Just so many missed opportunities. You know, you jump up 21-7, and you get a chance to really get a big stop and maybe go down and get another touchdown or a field goal like we did, and kind of put the game out of reach, really, in the first half. And then you let them score again. And we answered with 3 points, but if you don't let them – and the score, we have him tackled, in the backfield for a 2-yard loss. And like I said, I think that was a pivotal point in the game. And we just weren't we didn't win the trenches. We didn't. After you watch the offensive and defensive lines and we just didn't win the trenches. I mean, that's just the bottom line of it. When it comes down to the grand scheme of it, we didn't win the trenches like I said we have to do to win ball games. And that kind of said we've got to get back to doing our brand of football and doing it the right way. Get some movement, and not get double teamed and get pushed into the linebackers. And secondary's got to be a little bit better. So like I said, there's some weak points that are we're getting exposed on a little bit, and we've got to do a better job.
So another tale of two halves game, just in a different way here
Correct.
for McAllister. But Cuia's defense in the second half, looking at it from an offensive standpoint, did they change up anything defensively, or
No.
was it just execution?
No, I think it was really to what I told the kids, to me it looked like we were trying to not lose, and they were trying to win. When you look at the effort and the execution of play, they were letting it all hang out there, and we were so worried about losing the game that we didn't win the game.
Right.
We snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, essentially. I mean, that's the reality of it.
You guys have been on the other side of that so many times.
Yeah.
It's crazy that, you guys have always gotten the key fumble like Del City or the big interception to start off the comeback like Trent Cole over against El Reno. It just, man, it stings that sometimes it has to come around.
The ball sometimes bounces the other way. I think that's what happens. Sometimes when you're playing to win and playing to close out a game, sometimes those things happen for you. And when you're I always say when you're playing not to lose, the ball always bounces the other way. And that's just it's a mentality we have to have. It's a foot on the throat type mentality. Let's go ahead and close this out. Let's get a couple first downs, or let's do some things that we didn't get done. That's on us as a whole, as a group, as the Buffaloes, and we've got to fix it. Got to hold our destiny in our hands now.
Now, you take the first 46 minutes of the game, obviously there's still, you said missed opportunities, but we're talking about a lot of good stuff instead. We spoke about Malachi Rice in the last coach's show, and then he had arguably the best game of his career offensively and defensively, if you put them all together, would you say?
Yeah, I definitely think that's probably the best one he's had coming out for his career, offensively and defensively. I just got to put it all together. We've had some quarters of really good football and or halves of decent football. So we've yet to put 4 quarters together, and I'm waiting to see what this team does when they do that. Everybody wants to say, what about this, what about that? At the end of the day, you got to get hot at the right time. And if we were hot right now, I'd like to be playing better right now. Don't get me wrong, 1,000%. But right now, we got to be. Like I said, it comes down to consistency. I think last week, though, was our best week of practice consistency. Now it's just got to translate over to the games for the young men.
And you got to look at, all your goals still in front of you right now because even if, Del City or Coweta, they went out except for themselves. A 3 spot has been good for you guys in the past before.
Right.
So.
In reality, and I never want to tell the kids this or anybody.
No, because you want to win.
Right. You never. But the reality of it for us in this district, the 3 seed or even the 4 seed is a better road long term than the 1 or 2 seed. Even the district champion is going to have a really tough second round game. You're going to be battle tested if you get out, but it's going to be very, very tough. Whereas the 3 or 4 seed, your first round game is going to be a little bit tougher than your first round game. But the road, if you can get past that first round, is a lot more favorable, at least to get to the semis.
Right.
Like I said, we win out, we're third. You lose one of the 4, you're fourth. You just can't lose the wrong one.
And you got a better Durant team than it seems like.
Right. So it looked like, essentially, to me, the way I look at it, you still have to play well against East Central. You still have to play well against Glenpool.
Yes, sir.
Essentially, Durant's for 4th and Glenpool's for 3rd. Sepulpa's for 3rd. That's essentially how it works out. As long as we take care of our business on the back end with obviously East Central and Glenpool.
Now, one more bright spot was Trenton Greer. He had a high, I think it was 38 before his last one that he had. And so both of his kicks would have been career highs for him going into that night. But when you're looking at the 49-yarder and then you go watch football the very next day on Saturday, or I guess a couple of days. No, it was the next day on Saturday. We got Thursday tonight. And you see some college kickers missing these 45 to 49-yarders. What was the thought process and the decision-making going into letting Greer go for it right there?
Well, I look at it like this. It's a field goal situation. We got the wind behind our back. I've seen him kick some pretty good balls before. Didn't quite know if he could get it there, but I knew if it hit the end zone, it was a touchback, like a punt. People don't realize that.
Right.
As long as it's a long field goal and hits in the end zone, it's a touchback. So that's why you have to cover. A lot of people don't realize the kick 6. You have to cover that. And otherwise, if it hits the end zone, it's a touchback, all the NFHS rules. So basically, essentially, if it was a long missed field goal, it was going to be a touchback, and they get it on the 20. And we can maybe closed it out the half. So, and we had the wind, and that helps a little bit. But he put a good boot to it, and somebody said, "Coach, it's a 51-yard." I said, "I don't care." I said, "Hey, he can kick it. He's got a strong leg," and
he showed that off.
He really did a good job. And then the 40-yarder that he kicked was, and I believe the saying was 40-yarder.
It was 40 yards.
I mean, it probably would have been good for 52.
No,
he really booted the 40-yarder.
He had extra leg behind both of them.
I think the 40-yarder to me was more impressive than the 49-yarder, just because the trajectory and the power behind that kick of the 40. I think it really boosted his. I don't know if it's confidence or power, but his approach on the 40-yarder was pretty impressive too.
Did we ever find out if that was a record for the 49?
I haven't checked yet.
Yeah,
somebody said you believed
John
it
Homer,
did.
I think he said believed it did.
And believed it beat Eric Hughes's, I believe.
Yes.
I believe so. I would assume a 49-yarder would probably be the record.
Pretty close.
Because you had to. Once again, you either have to know the situation to try a 49-yarder, or you have a really unbelievable kicker.
Yeah. Well, Greer was pretty good last Friday, and hoping to have some more of that throughout the rest of the season. With that, we'll sneak aside for another timeout. When we come back, we're going to be looking at guests that play and also looking at the East Central Cardinals as well. You're listening to McAlester Football here on KNED.
Thank you, McAlester, for voting us Best Automotive Mechanic Shop for 2022 and 2023 in the Reader's Choice Awards. Reagan AO MacAllister is offering an AC performance check for $99.95. Reagan Auto now has an employment opportunity for automotive technicians with a signing bonus. Reagan Auto, 306 East Wyandotte Avenue, McAllister. Call 918-715-3236.
Hot, height!
Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress is proud to support our McAlester Buffaloes. For 32 years, Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress has been your one-stop shop for all of your furniture and mattress needs, offering quality recliners, living room sets, bedroom sets, dining room sets, and mattresses. Stop by Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress today and make yourself at home. Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress, 5 South 5th Street in McAlester. Go Buffs! Have a great season. Welcome back to Coffee with the Coach, brought to you by Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress, Reagan Auto, Doherty's Pharmacy, and the PC Landing Zone. I'm your voice of the Buffaloes, Brandon Green, at Harbor Mountain Coffee House on 3rd Street in McAlester, live alongside McAlester Buffalo head coach Forrest Mazey. Tonight is McAlester versus East Central. The Buffs lead the series 9-6 in a series going back to 1994. 5 of East Central's 6 wins were in a row from 2002 to 2012, but the Buffs are on a 6-game winning streak and have not lost to the Cardinals since 2012. Coach Mazey, once again, it's time for Guess That Play.
Let's go.
Presented by Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress, we go back to last year, and most points scored by McAlester in your tenure with 68.
Okay.
But at this point, it's a 14-0 Buffs lead. Ball at the Cardinal 6-yard line, 3rd down and goal. Ball right between the hashes. It's the first play of the second quarter. You just moved past the 50 because it was 2nd down. I can't remember the play
What
before.
yard line?
At the 6, right between the hash marks, you're going towards the locker room.
It'd probably a boot. It's either going to be Bumpus on a touchdown, or I think it's going to be the boot action. I think we're going to boot out, and I think we're going to hit Watkins for a touchdown on the left side.
Is that your final answer?
It's either that or Bumpus up the right side. I can't. Those two are kind of conflicted in my head, but I know both of those were going to our goal or our end zone.
I will say you're correct there. You can go with your first gut. You're going to go with the boot.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the boot.
We're going to go ahead and play it on YouTube then. Let's go.
Let's see.
There's
Yes,
the
I
boot.
was right.
Just his instinct, Ethan Watkins right by the pylon.
Yeah, we got our young kids in. They scored some touchdowns that game, too. I remember that.
I was going to say, I remember, I think, one touchdown, and it wasn't even an offensive touchdown from that game.
There was a
pick
defensive
6.
touchdown, too. There was a pick 6, and then Kaysen actually had 2 touchdown passes in that game. I just remember because I didn't, you don't expect much from him. It was actually, I put another quarterback in, and he wasn't performing. I just was upset. I put him in. Traditionally, my son's not a quarterback. He's a receiver by trade, but he's a good athlete that knows most of the offense for the most part. So I think he threw one to Bryson Baker and then Cleveland Williamson later on.
I think now that you say it, the last drive with Cleveland Williamson.
Cleveland had a couple good catches.
Yeah, he had end up 50-something yards on that game. So that was Guess That Play presented by Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress. Coach, you got a road game at the Eastside Sports Complex for the first time in a couple of seasons. What do you think about this year's Cardinals team?
They're better than last year's team. I think. I think just watching them, they had a lot of confidence against Durant. They got a little slot receiver, number 7. I don't know his name, but, man, he is if it's close to him, he's going to catch it because he made some terrific catches. I think they get wore down, just because of depth and the lines. I think against a team like Durant, they just wear you down over time. But, 7-7 or 7-6 for a little while. And actually, it might have been into the first quarter, but 7-7 or 7-6.
Yeah, they were tied going into the second.
And so you can't let a team like that with those athletes. Quarterback can throw it really well. Obviously, some good secondary players. So they provide some issues if you allow them to stick around. If you can put them away early, I think it's a team that you can put away early that will kind of concede a defeat. But you have to do it early. You can't wade in the water and see how physical they're going to be and then base your physicality off what they're doing. Because that's what we've been doing, and obviously that is for us as an MO. That's not a good trade for us. We have to go ahead and do something physical and fast early, and do a good job of getting these guys in a hole where they have to not be comfortable. If you let them be comfortable, they can be really good players. If you get them out of the comfort zone, they struggle a little bit.
One thing that was jarring to me when I was looking up some stuff to prepare for this game, when you're looking at teams that lean one way in high school football, even in college football, it's usually the rushing game, not the passing game. But you're looking at 240 yards passing a game and 70 yards rushing a game. Connor Dunn, you mentioned their quarterback, thrown for almost 1,400 yards in 6 games. He didn't play in last year's game against y'all. He did play y'all as a sophomore.
Yes.
What do you think about their senior quarterback?
Can throw it a country mile. When he's on, he's on. When he's off, it's bad. But he will throw it. It doesn't matter if he's getting hit, rushed, he will throw it. So I think he's a good player with some good athletes, and if he gets in their area, they do a good job getting it.
That response brought to you by the Everything Bagel over here.
Man, I can't help myself. I'm sorry. You can hear me chewing. It's so good.
No, I love it. That's kickoff at 7 o'clock tonight at the Eastside Sports Complex. Be sure to make the drive. We're going to take a break. Coming up next from Harbor Mountain Coffee House on 3rd Street, McAlester. Going to have one final break with head coach Forrest Mazey, reading some of your questions. Don't go anywhere. You're on 1150 AM, 98.3 FM, KNED.
Nothing's working! Wait! We're not cavemen! We have technology!
Are you a business in need of technology help? The PC Landing Zone specializes in device repair, including phones, tablets, computers, as well as networking installations and troubleshooting, cloud backups, flip phone systems, structured cabling, and more. Give us a call at 918-820-4188 for your local one-stop shop for all your technology needs.
Doherty Pharmacy, your full-service pharmacy. We offer free delivery in the McAlester area. We are a 340B pharmacy, and we're a compounding pharmacy. We also have a convenient drive-through. With all of that, we offer fast, friendly service. Doherty Pharmacy is open 6 days a week, Monday through Friday 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1. Doherty Pharmacy is proud to sponsor the 2022 football season. We're located at 622 East Wyandotte, McAlester. For prescription refills, call 918-426-5223.
Harbor Mountain Coffee House has your coffee and tea needs. Welcome back to Coffee with the Coach, brought to you by Tany Hill Furniture and Mattress, Doherty's Pharmacy, the PC Landing Zone, and Reagan Auto. We'll take a quick look at the broadcast schedule this week. There's not a lot going on overall, but we do have the game tonight over in Tulsa with McAlester versus East Central on KNED. Kickoff at 7, pregame set for 6:20, radio only. Video streaming near kickoff on the McAlester Radio YouTube channel. Then Saturday, both Tulsa and Oklahoma have a bye week, so we have only the Oklahoma State Cowboys on the air as they have another home game against a team from Kansas after a big bounce-back win against Kansas State last week, this time hosting the 23rd-ranked Jayhawks at 2:30 on Rock 105.1. Pregame show will be airing at 12:30. Now, with all that said, we have head coach Forrest Mazey with our final segment this morning, where we read off your fan questions. If you ever have one, DM us on Twitter at Buff Sports Radio, or message us on Facebook at facebook.com/McAllister Radio. I know plenty of people have messaged us on Instagram for McAllister Radios, not Buff Sports Radio. I made that thing for Threads because I didn't know what was going to go on with Twitter. So I don't think I'm following anybody. But make sure that you message us on Instagram, then at McAllister Radio. Coach, we'll start off with this one. Scott actually has a two-parter. He's got 2 of our 5. He asks, what is your favorite cut of steak and how do you like it cooked?
God, they're so good. Just depends on my mood. I've been a strip guy here lately. I really have. I really like a New York strip. But if it was a pinch, I'm going filet all day long. Really thick filet, medium rare, seasoned right, no sauce.
I think he heard you last week when you mentioned the one meal you want to have for the rest of your life is steak.
Steak, 1,000%.
So the other one from Scott says, which player that you've coached or currently coach has had or has the best pregame speeches?
As a former teammate of mine, actually, Ross Struby, and he does a great job. I mean, I've had him come speak to my kids during the playoffs, and man, he puts words right with the situation. Has the right amount of flair, has the right amount of seriousness, has the right amount of everything. So when I think about pregame speeches, I think about my really good friend Ross Struby, and he's a junior college All-American. Was an All-American for us at NSU when we were still pretty good. Good player, great friend, and when I think of somebody that gives great pregame speeches, it's a former teammate of mine that really hammers it home.
Did you see the Danny Stutzman one?
Yeah, it was good. I actually saw that on the video. It was really good.
I was listening. I just put on the audio, and I was listening kind of as I was driving back over to my house the other day from dinner, and I was thinking, that got me chills. I was like, that's good, Danny. Todd asks on Facebook, are you keeping up with the baseball playoffs, and if so, who do you have winning it all?
Oh, man. I really haven't. It comes across my news feed, and I really haven't because I've been so immersed in football.
Right.
I really don't have time for really much anything else. If I'm not watching film or practicing, it's Little League football with my son, and then sleep if I can. So it makes it, when you get home at 10 o'clock at night after Little League practice, and or we have a JV game, sub-varsity games. People don't realize that kind of burning the candle at both ends a little bit. So you really don't have time for a lot. I mean, if you immerse yourself into your child's life too. Obviously, if I didn't have Little League football, I'd have a few other nights, available. But when they're young like that, you got to take advantage of their time, and really their time becomes your time. So I've kind of immersed myself into helping Coach Capps coach that third grade team. I'm not very good at it. He's way better than me. So when I get home at 10, it's kind of just I decompress a little bit, get something to eat, go sleep. And so I really haven't I haven't got to watch anything. I really don't even get to watch college football or NFL, really.
Y'all make them do bear walks, right?
No, unfortunately. We're trying to teach them how to tackle better right now.
I gotcha. That's okay. Derek will answer it for you. Who do you got winning it all? Oh, come on.
Who is
Just
it?
pick the Rangers. There we
Rangers
go.
still playing?
Rangers.
Did the Dodgers get beat out?
They got swept by the Diamondbacks.
Figures.
Are you a Dodgers fan?
I'm a Dodgers, Yankees, Rangers. Those are my 3 teams.
I'm head on Yankees, but I'm rooting for the Rangers. I'm
a diehard Rangers. If that's my number 1 team, obviously, you have a close second on both of them are New York and L.A. Pittsburgh's always been a team I've always liked for some reason. I don't know why.
Logan asks, Zach Bryan or Turnpike Troubadours?
Neither.
Really?
Neither.
Not a fan.
I just don't like. Once again, if I'm talking about, that ain't country, man. We're not talking about country. I do like Morgan Wallen a lot. I think he's got a lot of hits. Hardy, Morgan Wallen. I'm just telling you, man. I don't get. It is what it is.
I got you. Okay. And
Garth
Shelley
Brooks, old school stuff. Brooks and Dunn,
Garth
man.
Brooks is great, but man,
yeah, 90s country. That's country.
My thing is Turnpike though is pretty dang close.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Oh man, you got to check them out. I suggest that.
I may have to check it out maybe if I'm not listening to 2 Chainz or Kevin Gates or something.
We'll watch them team up on a track or something.
Yeah.
Shelley asks in our last one here, what is the biggest non-McAllister high school football game that you would love to see?
High school?
High school.
Man,
What
I'll
she
be
says.
honest with you. I've been to one that I thought was phenomenal. We had a we played on a fall break or something, and the Battle of the Axe, Sherman Denison.
Okay.
And I got to go to that, and my buddies were coaching at Sherman, and I got to go sit on the sideline, stand on the sideline, and kind of just pace the sidelines. And I'm gonna tell you, that's a phenomenal rivalry. There's still one high school towns down there, and they were still both really good. Right now, they're struggling a little bit in comparison to what their towns are used to.
And they're right next to each other.
I'm talking close. It's a huge battle. That game was so loud and intense, and the play was at such a high level that I would go back to that game. Even right now, with them being not as good, I think the intensity of that rival is really phenomenal.
All right, Coach, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
No, we gotta get ourselves back on the right track. Continue supporting these young men, man. They go out and bust their tail. Trust me, they feel the pain of the loss just like you. As fans, and like I said, they're the ones out there bleeding and sweating and breaking themselves for the community and the school and each other. I mean, physically breaking each other. So keep standing behind these guys. Give them your support. When you see them, tell them keep trucking, keep the faith, keep going forward, because ultimately they're going to find their stride at some point. And I think once we do, we're going to be dangerous. I wouldn't want to play us if we get hot at the right time, just because I know what these kids are capable of. So we're just, like I said, we're still trying to find that consistency that we need as a team to make the push that we need to push come postseason. But we got to get to the postseason first, So we have to take it a week at a time, and sometimes we get caught looking too far ahead, maybe. But like I said, we got to be able to put 4 quarters of football together. You saw one quarter of average football against Coweta, and we had 24 points, and in reality probably should have kept them to 7, maybe 10. So, like I said, that's one half of average football. If they put 2 halves of really decent football together, who knows what can happen, against really good football teams. So I look forward to these young men hitting their stride, and look forward to you guys watching them hit their stride and watching people come alive again, just with the vigor of what I know these kids can come with.
Absolutely. 4 weeks to the finish line starts with tonight.
Yeah,
Thank
correct.
you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, good luck tonight against East Central. This has been Brandon Green with head coach Forrest Mazey. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, don't just have a great day. Have a Buffalo day, everybody.